Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, May 3rd. Thank you so much for joining into our weekly healthcare reform webinars. I'm happy to have you on the line, and hopefully you have a lot of great questions. My name's Deb Wilkinson. I'm the Vice President of the Health Plan Options Department at URL. And for those of you that are new to this format, we've been running these webinars since August of 2013. And, you know, I continue to say it's surprising to me how much we have to talk about every week because it's just constantly changing. And I also appreciate that you join in every week and ask your questions, because that helps us all kind of tackle this behemoth sort of law together. So for those of you that are new to the format, we encourage questions, and you can ask those in one of two ways. You can either raise your electronic hand in the control panel to the right of your screen, or you can type in your question in the question box, and I'll answer that at the end of the webinar. So those of you that are not new to the format know that I struggle with technology. So if you can just let me know if you can hear me okay and see my screen by raising your electronic hand, that would be great. I see a lot. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get started. I like to start out, talking about legislative updates, whether it's at the state level or the federal level, because it all kind of intermingles, doesn't it? And certainly it's something that is important to us here at URL, and hopefully important to you as well. So first things first, no details yet on the short-term medical expansion. We do hope, and we really 89 to 90% expect that it will change. Can't see the screen. All right. See, that's how no. It's good? All right. Yeah, see, struggles with technology. So hopefully you can see my screen now. Just maybe with a show of hands again, if you can see it, I'd appreciate that. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So again, the short term, we're hoping that extension or expansion of the 89-day limit is effective, January of 2019. That would be an ideal time for it to be extended to up to 12 months because you recall there's no tax penalty in 2019. So these plans, although they do carry pre-existing conditions, there's no doc visit co-pays, you're not tied in necessarily to a network, no over, pharmacy prescription copay benefits, but it is a lot less expensive. And if you sell these products certainly knowing what you're selling and making sure your clients know what they're purchasing, then I think this is going to be really big in 2019, whether it's our national general product that we like a lot, IHC, or any other short terms out there. I also believe that the carriers, in fact, I know the carriers are discussing their short-term products and what they may or may not do for 2019. So again, I think it's an opportunity for those of us that have been in the individual market and have taken a step back. I think this, again, will get some folks enrolled for 2019. So the next bullet point that I want to talk about is Medicaid. And it was really interesting to me that Tuesday, every day, NAHU, the National Association of Health Underwriters, sends a newsletter. So there were, on Tuesday, 9 articles. 6 of those articles had to deal with Medicaid. So Medicaid expansion, Medicaid coverage. So I thought maybe I'd share that information because, quite frankly, in my personal opinion, the ACA law is doing exactly what it was set out to do, and that is to expand Medicaid. So a couple of these headlines I think are worth noting. Maine Governor is being sued for not expanding Medicaid as citizens voted in a ballot initiative in November. So the governor saying, yep, I don't care what you say and how you voted, but we're not expanding Medicaid. So now they're being sued. And I think that's kind of nuts. Senators of both parties are warning against placing Medicaid work requirements on American Indians and Alaskan Natives. So this is the latest thing that everybody that has expanded Medicaid is looking, I shouldn't say every state, but most states are looking to add some sort of work requirement to the Medicaid platform. But again, the senators in both parties, left and right, are saying don't put those on the American Indians and Alaskan Natives. Wisconsin is denying transgender treatments, and they're being sued through the Medicaid system. So their Medicaid system will not treat or surgically alter any for transgender treatment. So now they're being sued. Ohio submits requests to impose work requirements on their citizens. Idaho submitted more than 60,000 signatures to expand their Medicaid program, and Kansas passed Medicaid expansion in 2017, but it's been vetoed. So you can see all these states shaping up to expand Medicaid, aka single payer. So it's kind of interesting. And again, this is my opinion. I'm just showing you the headlines. This is my personal opinion, good or not. So that's what we have today as far as legislation updates. There is, pardon me, there are a few things going on at the state level, but nothing definitive yet. So again, I will keep watching state and federal information and pass that on next week. TASC. TASC is a third-party administrator, and they are promoting that they will meet or beat any competitor's pricing for flexible spending accounts, health savings accounts, or health reimbursement arrangements. So if you have a group that currently is in that, those programs, and you want to see if changing the vendor may offer them some savings, let me know and we can get you a quote on that. Fourth quarter prep. Now, of course, here we are in May, but, the July and August renewals are being released. So, that's just getting further and further into fourth quarter. So it's not ever too early to prepare. In your handouts, I did include our group health quoting form. And if you could utilize that, that would be ideal. That's going to help us get you a quote appropriate to the group. We're not going to waste your time or our time by offering you 33 pages of quotes when really maybe only 5 of those plans would be relevant to your group clients. This is our our census form. It's in Excel. It's pretty standard with all the carriers, but we are asking that if you do send in a group quote request that you use this form. It makes it easier on us, easier on you, and we can get those turned around more quickly. Let's see what else we have here. And upcoming events, we've talked about this a little bit. We have 2 webinars, one on the 16th with Sun Life and talking about generating new revenue with voluntary benefits. Again, with fourth quarter coming up and 12/1s and 1/1s right around the corner, it's a good opportunity possibly to look at where there are holes within your group clients' block and see if you can fill those in with some voluntary benefits. May 17th, there is a seminar, and this is at the Cat Blue Cross store in Enola, and it is being sponsored by the Central Pennsylvania Association of Health Underwriters. It's also by the American Heart Association. There's going to be a quick presentation, but it's cocktails with class, so you'll learn something about the American Heart Association, heart disease, and also meet your contemporaries. So it's a great way to kind of get connected with people that are, in having the same struggles that you are having. Another webinar on May 23rd. This one is on Highmark third and fourth quarter changes. They have filed for rate reductions, so we're really excited about that. We're going to have Kareem Corbin and Carrie McEwen on that webinar talking about everything we need to know for the pricing change and what they anticipate for 2019. Also, Colonial Life, speaking of increasing revenue with voluntary benefits, Colonial Life, we have a really strong partnership with them, and Dina and Brent McVicker are our representatives. They're great. It's a great husband-wife team, and they work hard. They work hard for you. So what they're proposing is we are setting up some times every month that you can come in and meet with Dina and Brent, look at your group health block and dental, vision, etc., and look where there are holes, and then they're going to go out with your permission and fill in those holes. Remember, it's voluntary products, and the great news is they do all the heavy lifting. You just have to give them the opportunity. They don't write health, so there's no conflict of interest there. And additionally, they also offer some assistance with core enrollment of benefits. So keep all that in mind. And if you are interested in meeting with them to talk about your group health block and how to expand that into the worksite programs, reach out to Elise Fry, and she can schedule you to meet with them. National General, they did, now the new brochure is on our website, but they did raise, or they are raising the total out of pocket on deductibles lower than $10,000 to $5,000. So that is an increase, and that takes place with policies that are effective 6/1 of 18 and moving forward. So just be mindful of that. Anyone that's currently insured and has an effective date 5/31 and earlier is not affected by this. Here's something. This just shows the wackiness of how things change so quickly. So the HSA contributions on family, they were established, of course, last year, end of last year, and family was $6,900. Then around March, the IRS said, nope, that can't happen at $6,850, and there were a lot of warnings. I included one in my newsletter and on this webinar, basically saying, hey, if you're an employer that contributes or you offer HSA and it's a monthly contribution amount, you could be in danger of over-contributing and being charged an excise tax. But good thing is, within a few weeks, it's changed back. So now, again, the HSA family contribution is $6,900. So just be mindful of that. Hopefully next week I won't say it's back to $6,850, but for today, it is $6,900. And that's really it. That brings us up to the end of the webinar. Open discussion, so get your questions ready. And while you're doing that, I truly thank you for joining in every week. Hopefully you do get some information that helps you in your daily work. So let's see if we have any questions. Not many. Oh, actually long ones. Okay, a lot of people telling me at the beginning of the webinar they couldn't see my screen, so that's done. Nate says, you mentioned more carriers potentially offering short-term plans in 2019 if short-term medical change is approved. With the penalty going away, are any carriers looking to introduce true major medical plans which don't meet ACA requirements? Can they? Are there still compliance issues which would prevent them from doing so? Yes. There are compliance issues. The law of the land, the ACA law still stands. The only thing that changed is that individual tax penalty was zeroed out. It doesn't even go away, it's just zeroed out. So carriers, unless there's some sort of executive order or legislative change that comes in this month or next, carriers are still required to file their plans according to the ACA guidelines. The short-term medicals, that's kind of the first step solution into a non-ACA plan. And look at it, Nate, you know yourself, you sold a lot of medically underwritten individual plans, and it's essentially the same thing if they can do a 12-month time period, because they'd have medical underwriting, no cover, well, let's say 5 gatekeeper questions, no coverage of pre-existing for the policy, which is very similar to, you know, Capital Blue Cross Personal Blues, the pre-ACA plans. So I think this is the first foray into a non-ACA plan, but other than that, there is nothing that I'm hearing from the carriers on any other alternative. Okay, so let's see. Sharon is asking me to change the agenda to the second page. I'm not sure which one that, maybe this? This is the second page, or this? Sharon, I tell you what, I will email you the PowerPoint and then you will have it all. Well, that brings us to the end of all of the questions. As always, I truly appreciate you joining in. I know we're all busy and, you know, certainly have a lot more to do than sit and listen to me yap every Thursday, but I truly appreciate you joining in. My contact information is in front of you. If you have questions, I encourage you to give me a call. And as always, I thank you for joining in and wish you a great balance of the week and a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.